I have something actually to fight for.
This guy actually looks like a homeless person.
His companies were sued for $25 million for deceptive marketing.
He was trying really hard to get on the podcast, and he's been trying really hard to get on now. He contacted a few friends of mine.
And obviously, his whole thing is built on a lie. He is a con artist. It is complete fraud.
Oh my God. I don't think there's even a 1% chance that Liver King is going to survive this, because this guy just ruined his entire life by calling out one person. Like, bro, you could have called out Vitaly, you could have called out Johnny Somali, but instead you called out Joe Rogan.
I hope you're mad. You should choke me out. You know how to do that. You're trained. You got a black belt. Black belt in jiu-jitsu.
And with a blink of an eye, your life went from millionaire to prisoner. Liver King clearly never thought about what he was getting himself into when he made those videos. And now, the news coming out is insane. His whole empire just crumbled.
His companies were sued for $25 million for deceptive marketing.
There's no chance he's getting back his previous popularity. Actually, I shouldn't even call that popularity. It was a scam. That's the only reason people believed in him. He broke that trust, so I can't call that real fame. Right now, literally everyone on YouTube is exposing Liver King. Some people have valid points, and so many secrets are coming out online. Secrets he hid and kept buried.
Hired a private sharmuta nurse to come to his house like a sharmuta would, right? To shock the shit out of him. So besides all those drugs he's been putting in his system, he's doing that. So he's all fucked up in the head, and that's why we see his behavior online like this.
But now they're all spilling out and dragging Liver King into deeper and deeper trouble. In one video, Asmongold reacted to how he looks homeless, like he doesn't look anything like a guy with a $12 million net worth.
I have something actually to fight for.
This guy actually looks like a homeless person.
I hope you're mad. You should choke me out. You know how to do that. You're trained.
This is Radagast the retarded.
Shame on you. I am going to actually make you pay.
What does that mean?
Or anything and everything.
A lot coming.
Everything.
How is this guy a multi-million? Is this what people think about when they look at me? Liquid net worth is 12. So this guy has $12 million. This is $12 million in action. Joe Rogan would demolish him, by the way. Yeah, Joe Rogan would beat the fuck out of him. Absolutely. Joe Rogan's a professional fighter. Wasn't he a dentist?
I definitely agree with Asmongold, because in my last video, people were commenting that this guy is in his 40s but looks like their grandfather. Some even said great-great-grandfather, which is insane because he's supposed to be a fitness influencer. In fitness, the main goal is to look fit, not old. But how he destroyed himself with illegal substances like steroids just proves that if you build your image on a scam, this is what happens. Now, there's a clip going viral where Liver King says, "Joe Rogan, come on, choke me out." He basically called out Joe Rogan, which is crazy because Joe Rogan isn't just famous, he's the biggest podcaster in the world.
Break it on me. I hope that you won't feel me tap. That's never happening, tapping, because I have something actually to fight for. Actually, that's my family. I have a principle to fight for. I hope you're mad.
What? You have a principle to fight? What kind of inspiration is that? I don't even understand. And not just me. If anyone uses their common sense, nobody will understand this. Everyone knows what's really going on. You're just another controversy clown trying to stir up the internet to make money and get fame. But you totally failed. If anyone agrees with me, let me know. If you don't, then show me your logic. Why do you think he's not a fake influencer?
You should choke me out. You know how to do that. You're trained. You got a black belt. Black belt in jiu-jitsu. I hope you choke me out, and if you don't choke me out, these other limbs will be interesting. Should be very interesting. That's the PS. It's just, I already thought about my game plan. I don't have a plan. I'm not going to train. But I hope you've been training, and I'm ready whenever you're ready. If it's tomorrow, that will be great. Let's do it as soon as possible. If it's not tomorrow, then just whenever you're ready.
When Joe Rogan exposed that Liver King used steroids, that's when his entire business and his millions in supplement sales fell apart. Everything got exposed. After Joe Rogan's statement, Liver King apologized. That didn't fix anything.
Is that also, I think he was mentally ill, right?
Maybe. Yeah.
I would have, listen, let me just classify my definition of mentally illness as someone who lies.
I think it's a mental illness.
Okay.
I think lying when it's really obvious.
Yeah.
You're lying about taking steroids when it's super obvious you're on steroids.
Mm-hmm.
You're 46 years old. You look like a fucking superhero. And you're right. You're just super jacked.
Yeah.
You know, and then gets caught. This guy's juiced to the tits. Obviously, for a guy like you or a guy like me, we look at a guy like that like, you've got to be on the juice. You don't even look remotely normal.
Now, after his scam was revealed, his company is being sued for $25 million. I don't think he'll even be able to pay that. It just adds more to his problems. And honestly, even if this guy somehow gets out of prison, there's almost no chance he'll survive after this. He's dug himself into a hole so deep, I don't think he's ever climbing out.
Things have slowly gone downhill from here since this all happened. His companies were sued for $25 million for deceptive marketing due to his steroid controversy. And obviously, there was plenty of people, including commentary channels and podcasts, that talked about the situation. But it was Joe Rogan having Derek on his podcast that really struck a nerve with the Liver King.
And by the way, you guys might have already seen this, but honestly, Joe Rogan completely tore Liver King's scam apart from top to bottom. He exposed how this guy was trying so hard just to get on Joe Rogan's podcast, even reaching out to a bunch of Joe Rogan's friends. But Joe Rogan never let this scammer get near his audience.
He's front row at one of my shows in Vegas.
Oh, damn.
At the MGM. Yeah, and then I saw him again at the Canelo fight. He was trying really hard to get on the podcast. And he's been trying really hard to get on now. He contacted a few friends of mine, and some of them that have, like Bert Kreischer, that had him on the show.
Yeah, he told me he's trying to get on.
Yeah, for what? For what? Say that more? Like, come on, this is dumb, man. This is you ran a con game and you got busted.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that you feel terrible. I'm sorry you feel bad, because that's just what happens when you get caught lying.
So after Joe Rogan's clip, it's clear as day. Everyone knows that Liver King's main intention was to jump into controversy and be the center of everyone's discussion. And honestly, he did succeed. He just also succeeded in landing himself in jail for the first time. But if you remember what Liver King said before about why he made those videos and why he actually wanted to pick a fight with Joe Rogan, it just shows how desperate he was to stay relevant.
And we don't have to pretend or make any videos. The world is watching. They'll make the videos for us. And you don't have to hold a camera. You can hold the hand of somebody that you love, because what happens next to you, you're going to need to remember that feeling. You're going to need something more than what you did to give you something to fight for, because I have my family to fight for, and I'll die for them, you know that. And you're a black belt, but you've never come across something like this. Willing to die, hoping that you'll choke me out. I pray to God, because that's a dream come true. It feels good. And then the limbs, I'm fighting for my family. So limb. Go ahead. But then you have to contend with something else. And I weigh 177 pounds. An actual savage.
But why does this Clown King actually behave like this? Is he really mentally messed up from using endless substances, or is there something else we don't know about yet? Yeah. Now it's starting to look like there's something big being revealed just to hide something even bigger. In this video, the creator talks about a serious issue that could make a huge turn in this whole controversy.
In the 50s, they used to do these experiments on kids who had autism or other types of problems, right? They used to have these shock therapy machines that they would plug to their heads and shock the shit out of them, thinking that they can make them better, right? Well, this hired a private Sharmuta nurse to come to his house like a Sharmuta would, right? To shock the shit out of him. So besides all those drugs he's been putting in his system, he's doing that. So he's all up in the head, and that's why we see his behavior online like this.
You can't buy this kind of stuff. Their serial numbers, not replicatable, not reproducible kind of stuff. Presents like that, Joe Rogan.
If that's actually true, then the lawsuit against him could take a whole new turn. Because if they prove that Liver King is actually mentally ill, that would change everything. But honestly, everyone knows his main intention was just to create controversy around himself. And look at this. Even the news channels are criticizing him now, saying he can't be a role model. And his own family, they're just putting on a drama right now too.
It was so disturbing to me that this is someone who so many young men looked up to as a role model. When this person is the polar opposite of who a role model should be. I mean, now he's had had the full mental break, but this was not a well person. And obviously, his whole thing is built on a lie. He is a con artist. It is complete fraud. I mean, I think a lot of his origin story, too, is probably a fraud, which involved his kids, by the way.
Nobody knows.
Like, you can't take any of this for granted now because his big selling point was, I look like this because of these 9 ancestral principles or whatever.
Tenants.
And 9 ancestral tenets. And that was all total and complete bullshit.
So there's definitely no confusion now. Liver King is officially the new clown king of the internet. And not just that, he's destroying himself more and more every day. Don't be surprised if news comes out soon that he's homeless and broke too, because at this point, it's obvious that the lawsuit against him and his company is going so far that he might not make another dollar in his life. And sure, if he somehow proves he's mentally ill, then maybe the lawsuit will take a new turn. But think about it. If a fitness influencer ends up being declared mentally unfit, will that keep his reputation alive? No way. He'll fail either way. Right now, Liver King is stuck in the middle of the ocean, and both shores are dangerous for him. He's facing trouble from every side. What do you think? Will Liver King completely disappear for good?